Well, usually this time of year, I've already put out several videos in a series I usually call 12 Games of Christmas. But this year has just been one of those years. It's thrown everything off. And, well, I just didn't have it in me. So, instead, you're going to get digging to the bottom. We're going to just clear this out. Instead of going all the way down there, and it goes, and it goes, and it goes, we're going to clear it all out. That's the plan. So, let's get started. Oh god, I was afraid this was happening. Okay, forgot how to play. It's 2025. You've been playing video games since at least 1986 or 7-ish. I don't know. Let's say 7. We'll say I was 4. We'll say I was 4 when I picked up the first Atari controller. But quickly after switched to the Nintendo because it came out and it was way better. Anyway. Okay, Atari only had one button. Doesn't count. So, we'll start with Nintendo. Sorry, scratch all that. How's it going? So, since let's say 1987, I've been pressing basically the A button to jump in essentially every game I've ever played. All the way roughly until the mid 2010s, 2000, well, we'll say Xbox 360 era. So these games where the A button does nothing, or X button if I'm playing on PlayStation, but like I said, 1987, I still call it the A button. You're lucky I don't call it the Nintendo. Anyway, this game, it's the trigger. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. So, when I fall, my natural inclination is to spam the A button, and then nothing happens. And I fall like a boo-boo. Yeah, so this year, man, this year has both gone so fast and so slow, like most years do as you get older. But I'm trying to think back to January. How did we start the year? I'd have to go look at my YouTube channel, actually. I'd have to watch my videos from January, see where I was at. But we were doing good. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And now when I say good, I mean we were stable. Things were happening, coming together. I was collecting hobbies like Pokemon. And in fact, I think I might have started collecting some Pokemon too, but that was just so I could sell them, Try to get in on that get lucky, find a cool card, sell it. And it's worked out a few times. I put cards on eBay and whatnot, and not whatnot. I think that's actually a thing I don't use. But anyway, anywho, I put it on eBay, and I've sold some cards. I've made some bucks. Just like with Scratcher's tickets, I've kind of broken even. And then I got, I don't know. I guess we skipped to March, because March is when the year changed. March is when the tornadoes happened. And we'd been living in this trailer for 6 years, almost 7 years. And, so that was always a concern. And we live in an area where that is, there's a season called tornado season. And it's not necessarily that you're going to be in the path of it. It's just that that's the season for when they happen in our, geographical area. Usually we're pretty lucky. And we were quite a few times. We had a few close calls. There were some pretty bad stormy days. And we were like at the end of a road, and then my backyard was just trees and field, and we had lots of trees around us, and so we were always concerned with wind and storm damage to some extent. Plus, if you live in a trailer, you're just, a fucking squirrel runs across your roof and farts too hard, and you fucking got a leaky roof and a damage you can't repair without a professional. So anyway, it's a concern. And several times we've made it through some stuff, no damages. And if it ever got like super bad, like I've lived in this area my whole life, so I have a pretty good detector for when it's like, oh no, this is when this is not good. Like there's a lot of times where it's like scary, but you're like, it's scary but it's fine. And then there's times when you're like, oh no, this is bad. And in March we finally hit that point. And when that happens, we just go to my wife's parents' family's house, because they lived very close by, but in an actual structure, not in a tin can. So we would, if it was time to bail, that's where we'd go, and we'd huddle the basement, or not if it wasn't actually that bad, but at least the option's there. And in March we had to do that for one particular storm, and that time I knew it was different. Like usually I held out pretty far. I watched my radars. I turned into a to like a, what do you call that, amateur professional meteorologist, and that was one of the times I was like, no, we gotta go, like now. And we literally like just got in the car, went, and like within minutes of us getting there, we were in the basement, and everything started going just fucking bonkers. And it's funny because like my whole life growing up and being worried about this sort of thing and knowing what to look for and hearing about people experiencing it, blah blah blah, the one thing that like was always a common thread for people who had been like literally in it was they describe it as sounding like a train. Like, and I've lived by trains. Like even now, there's trains in my background every once in a while, but they're far enough away that you don't feel them. But like, I've lived near train, like right next to a train track, where you can feel it too, and hear it, and all that. So this time we're in the basement and things are going crazy, but then the sound was different, and that's what got me. I was like, oh, you guys, I think this is a tornado, because like this is different. I've been through this a million times, but it's never acted like this, sounded like this, looked like this. Like, we're in the basement, but it's a half type basement. It's got windows and shit, so like you can see out, and you could see that like the hail, the rain, and the wind were going sideways and not going down or at an angle. And then the sound was literally like a freight train and a raging storm at the same time, feeling, sound, all of it. And so we just huddled and braced for impacts, and after a few minutes it was all over, and after a few more minutes it was calm enough to like, okay, let's go check things out. I hope this drill isn't extremely loud, because in my ear it's kind of loud. Anyway, So we go up and we begin to assess the local damage, and it's very, very clear. It's very clear that something just went through the entire neighborhood and the entire like section of the county. And I mean, like, I literally it was post-apocalyptic. Like, we're talking, it's still raining. It's dark because it was nighttime. All the lights are out everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And we, like I said, we're like down the street, like 5 minutes away. Not even 5 minutes away from our home. From our trailer. So we can tell immediately that like, oh, this is not good, because you can start to see like, you can see a path. Like, it's crazy because like, you see it on like the news, or you see it like from the air. You can see the line, but like being in it, being oh, sorry, bro, it's crazy. I didn't think this was gonna like bother me. Wow. So if I get quiet, apparently this is bothering me. So, where were we? Yes. Lights out everywhere. Streets, poles down. You can see like I said, a trail, like fences. You can see just everything. You can tell the pathway because of the damage to all the homes, like what side it's on. It was all like where the hail was. Everything looked like it got shot by shotguns, like just pepper sprayed by rock shotguns. And let's see. So once it had gotten to a point where it was clear that the storm was over, uh, we had to go back and assess what we were going back to. And I posted a short. There should be a video, some footage of it, and on my YouTube on here. So, or pictures. I can't remember. I know I shared some because we could tell the whole drive. Like I said, it was dark. Everything was out. There was a trail. There was like every shit in the roads. The typical post-apocalyptic, post-major storm, that sort of thing. It was surreal. Like, people always say, "Oh, it was so surreal," but like that's the only word for it. Like, because it is. You're like, "Oh, wow!" Like, and it's surreal because it's both. Like, it's facts. It's happening right in front of your eyes, or you're seeing it, but also like it looks identical to thing like movies, things you've seen on TV, all that stuff, where you're just like, I guess your brain does something when it sees something a lot, and then it sees it for real, and you're like, what? How is this? It's just like the thing you know is fake is now real, and so you're like, how? What is this a movie? So obviously the anxiety is just building at this point. Like the closer we get to home, because it's like the closer you can see the path, basically. Like, okay, we're we might be in some trouble. Like, the closer we get, the more it's like, oh yeah, it definitely came through here. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some people in houses that got some like real major damage on their houses. Uh, I'm trying to think. I don't think we saw anything that was quote unquote there and then gone. Like everything was pretty much just like damage. There's a lot of trees, like little side tangent, but a good rule for life, or at least like where you live. I've always said there's got to be more trees than there are people. If there's more trees than there are people, you'll be okay. But if you see more people than you see trees, move. Or don't. Stay there, actually. I changed my mind. Stay where you are. If you... Anyway, we have a lot of trees. So, trees are, you know, good. That's what they're for. Cover. So, they did their jobs. A lot of them. But a lot of them sacrificed themselves. It was a war for the trees, because many were lost that day. But they did their jobs. A lot of places could have gotten really wrecked. Were probably saved because of the trees. Anyway, so and we're also having to go around stuff that, like, in the movies they would have the cops like there with flashlights and road signs and like, you can't go through here, roads blah blah blah, but we were doing it. And mind you, I drive a fucking Infinity. I don't want to sound like a douche, but I drive an Infinity G36, a 2006, a 20-year-old car, okay? Don't get twisted. But like, and my mommy bought it for me because I was disabled and she felt bad, I guess. I don't know. You know what? I'll probably cut that part out. Anyway, I drive a all-wheel drive, you know, dad car, and it's not made for driving through post-apocalyptic tornado times, but you know, it wasn't that bad. And there was no like actual roads out or anything. There was just like a lot of debris and stuff. So, but like I said, the closer we got to home, the more it was like, oh god. But we pull into our little trailer street. I wouldn't call it a park. It was a H-shaped set of streets. Literally an H. And so we're pulling in, and you can see like an angle of damage to like dang it, I got stuck doing that. An angle of damage to the pathway of it, and it was like, you know, skirts ripped off and debris and stuff like that, and like typical stuff that would have detached itself from trailers. A lot of that. And mind you, it's still pouring down rain. I said it settled down. I didn't say it stopped. It was still pouring down rain. And we pull up, and another note, I guess, is our like driveway and our end of the street, the way that our roads were designed, all of the water that ever came down whenever it rained, like if it just regular rained on a regular day, it was a normal rain, our driveway would flood like 5 to 6 inches on a normal day, because all of the way the road was designed, it would gather and pour down into our driveway. So, like, with a torrential downpour going on and all this shit that just happened, needless to say, I mean, like it was up over, I think we might have had a foot almost of water there. Like it was up over the whatchamacallit, bottom step of our like porch, and it's never been that high. But the first thing we noticed in the dark, well, the first thing I noticed in the dark was that my American flag that I'd set up right out front, and with a very cheap, basic Amazon Basics aluminum pole. Like, we're not talking I installed it. We're talking a little aluminum pole that had, you know, the forks that you... Oh, shit, I'm not paying attention. Had the forks you step on. It was leaning over at, like, you know that, the famous World War II picture of the soldiers, the Marines, on the beach lifting the flag? It was literally that angle. But it wasn't touching the ground. It was like, I literally, like, even now it makes me like, it's stupid, but it's like, I was like, wow, our flag's still there. And it wasn't touching the ground. But behind the flag, we had right behind the house, or trailer, there was a gigantic pine tree, which I do have video of this on my shorts. The gigantic pine tree, which was literally split, like, broke, and laying the opposite way of the trailer. It could have fell right on the trailer and smashed everything. And, like, where my daughter's room is, like, she had the room at that end of the house, and that tree was outside her, right outside her room. And it was leaning, like it had a natural lean towards the house. And it snapped the other way completely. That was the first thing I saw, and I was just like I'm speechless. Like, what? And then my wife was the one who was like, I'm going to go in and see. Now, mind you, it's dark, it's pouring, we only have our car lights, and the angle at which you pull in to the trailer and everything, and the damage that was done is kind of blocked by the perspective that we're looking at, and it's dark, so we can't exactly see what's going on, but we can definitely see that there is a tree in our house, like 100%. There's a tree where it's not supposed to be, not the one we expected, because we also, between our trailer and the neighbor's trailer, there was a old gigantic oak tree, and I mean, like, I want to say like 40 foot, if not more, and like 2-3 feet around, but it was like dying and dead. It was always dropping gigantic branches on the house. Anytime the wind blew, a gigantic branch would fall, or multiples, I should say. And so we always expected that one to go, and if that one went, it would have literally took out, it was like angled to where it would have just fell and just killed everybody and like smashed the entire house. That's my theory anyway. That tree was still standing, but we could tell there was a tree where it wasn't supposed to be. And on that back end of the house is our bedroom and our bathroom. Like, it was all one room. It was a master bedroom with a bathroom. So wife goes in, and like, she's gone for a minute, and then she just comes back just bawling. I might have to break here for a second, I don't know, but like, she was just like in that shock kind of, but bawling. And I think she took a video. And she showed me, and then like, yeah, we just lost it. And then from there we just like ran inside, and we just got to work. Uh, I walk in and like everything from the everything's fine until you get to our bedroom, and then there's a tree that came through the bathroom and into like over the bedroom and the closet. And by some miracle, there is something bracing in the closet that has just been holding the roof and the tree up. Otherwise, it would have went all the way. I guarantee it would have went all the way through, sliced it all in half. But that tree spot that landed right above and broke right above where my TV, my PlayStation, like my whole setup was. Like we had our entertainment setup there. Like everything you ever saw me make a video, everything I ever did was like it was that setup. And if you went back and watched old videos, like really old ones and really old like live streams, you would hear me sometimes reference that and how like my fears of it, because the wall had the main water pipes and everything, so if there was ever the shower ever broke or there was a water pipe issue, it would all pour out and spray out there on my shit. The electricity box was right there. The fucking everything was plugged in to the wall right there. So if that pipes ever went off, like it would be devastating. It would be so bad. And so that's right where it broke. And I mean, the ceiling was split down the middle right there, and it's just pouring waterfalls onto my TV and everything below it, the whole system. Like my setup was two like cheap Walmart end tables, and then those acted as my like one held my PS4, one held my PlayStation and the controllers and stuff, and then the TV was, the legs were sitting on each of those, and it was like a table it was like two tables. You know, you could picture it. Basically, I didn't have a entertainment center. I made one with that and used the space in between it because that's where like the plugs were and everything. And I had like a not a safe, but it's like a mini cargo container that I store stuff in. So like that was in the middle of it, and then like, you know, I had my whole setup. It worked. It was perfect, except for the one fatal flaw. If anything like that ever happened, it was all destined to be destroyed. So there it is. It's all pouring. So when my wife went in, she like immediately started like moving, like pulling all that stuff out that she could. Like she tried to save everything she could, and like. And this was in a matter of minutes. I don't even understand. It's even thinking back now, it was crazy trying to think of like, but and the only reason oh shit, I forgot. The only reason she went in instead of me in the first place is just because I have MS and she doesn't. So she was like, I'll go just in case, and then I'll come back if it's like super bad or whatever, you know. I'll go check it out and come back, let you know. And then so we're, you know, I mean, it's pouring. I'm like, all right, we grabbed everything that was in the closet, everything that was like the way it was smashed is hard to explain. Like the bathroom's done. Like you're not going in the bathroom. It is like you can't even get in the doorway of the bathroom. It's smashed. It's all caved in. There's glass everywhere. And our bathroom was like basically the smoking station for grown-up time. We had a window and a vent and it's a good place if you're grown up and an adult, just like you keep all your medicine locked up in the bathroom. So it was a good place for that. So all of our stuff is in there. Like, by the way, it's legal in my state and I have a med card, so it's not the issue wasn't that like, oh my god, this is illegal. It was more like, oh my god, all of our stuff is in here and it's just smashed and full of glass. Like, I mean, it. So the bathroom, the back wall of the bathroom was medicine cabinet with a mirror, and then it was like this weird octagonal shaped wall where it was all just panels of mirror. So our whole back bathroom wall was a mirror, and then it was L-shaped around like the corner. Like I said, it's octagonal. So on the side wall was the toilet and the window, and then like mirrors all the way. Like, here we go. I can point at this. Okay, I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. So, like, let's say this is me looking at. Okay, this area right here is the medicine cabinet, and then from here to here is mirror, and then it was like a angled wall mirror, and then another mirror right here, and then the toilet's right here, and then above the toilet was the bathroom window. The tree came in here right through this angle and just smashed everything. And this would be like my room. This right here, that's where the wall was, and then on this side of the wall is my whole entertainment setup. And the tree came in at this angle and just landed and stopped right here because something in the closet was like, there was, I don't understand it. The physics never made sense. But anyway, this was all glass and mirrors, and it's all been shattered into just dust and glass everywhere in the bathroom. And this corner right here, this was like this was all countertop and then sink, but this was all countertop. And in this corner right here, I have like a medical chest. We'll call it medical chest setup, and then like a lockbox with, you know, stuff in it, like you know, just the usual accoutrement that you collected over the years, pipes and stuff. Everything is shattered and full of glass. Everything is shattered and full of glass, and you can't even get in because it's coming the door frame. You're looking at this angle, and the door frame is smashed in, and like, so we're doing what we can. Our closet's over here, and somehow it's holding something up. So like, I'm getting all my important shits in there. Like, basically, I all my clothes, everything. I used the closet, and then the top of the closet was all like, you know, just stuff you store, all the important shit. So like, we're getting everything out, just scrambling everything out, getting it out of the way of this waterfall, because this waterfall is pouring in. I said the wall was right here, so everything from the bathroom to right where my entertainment is just pouring water down, just waterfalls. I think I have a video clip of it. Anyway, oh, also, so like, let's say we were home, right? So this little stain right here is where all the water's coming down, and the entertainment center is at. My bed is right here. This is where I always hung out, sat down, played video games, made my videos. And my daughter, who's, you know, who was a baby, and then now she's like, at this point 4, her bed was right here, and we shared a room with her because she wasn't old enough yet to like be down the hall. We weren't ready for that, and plus her sister, we didn't want to force her to share a room yet. So we're like, you know, we'll just keep her in our room until we figure something else out, whatever. It was a good setup. So she lived there next to us. She had a play area and everything, so it wasn't like she was just in here. She had her own area to play, like the living room. We didn't use as a living room, we used it as a playroom. So she's playing in the playroom all the time, but this was where she slept. And if we would have been home or stayed home or anything like that, like, I mean, everything just, I mean, it was just right in the fucking line. It just, everything's just fucked up. Anyway, where was I? Let's go back to digging, I guess now. I lost my place in the story, but we're basically clearing everything out that we can, getting it out of the water, out of the way of damage, and trying to save it, getting everything we can to the living room. We know this place is gone. That's the other thing. Like, it's not like, oh, they're gonna fix it. and we'll be back. This place is gone. There's no coming back from this. So my first inclination and thought is like, okay, well, we're moving, so we better act like we're having, we better act like it and start getting everything like important and necessary. And then like we did what we could as far as that goes, and got all of our important shit and got it together, got shit for the kids. We were grabbing their favorite stuff that we could think of and find, and we just did what we could, got, went back, and then the next day, basically, everybody in my family just, like, I have a small family, but, like, my mom and her husband and, who's an ex-fire chief, so, like, he's already, like, good people. If you don't know this, another life lesson. So the first one is the one I said earlier. I already forgot what it was, because we've gotten so far. Trust firemen. That's like, in my whole life, the only people I've just naturally trusted is like, you can trust a firefighter. They're the rate of, like, they're just selfless, good people. Plus, they're strong as shit. Like, they have to be, and in shape and healthy and just good people. So I've always been like, a fan of, what do we do? Boom. All right. So anyway, like, everybody, my brother, my sister, and their respective significant others all showed up. We got the entire place packed, cleaned, put away. We all in storage. Like, I mean, it was literally like a military operation. And yeah, we got out of there. Like, the most fortunate thing, besides, like I said, like, out of everything, literally the only things that were, like, quote unquote lost was my my setup. That was it. And that's no big deal, because it's just stuff that can be bought and replaced literally the same day. So it's like, whatever. Nothing of actual value or importance was lost, other than the mental cost. But like all in all, it was lucky, because, like, we hated that place anyway, so it was only a matter of time. Because, like, we moved in to that place, what was it, like, gosh, I think 2017-ish? It was well before COVID. And, like, we moved into that place, and it was like, I think it was $600 a month when we moved in. We were at the end of a dead-end street, last place, and then it was just woods and field. I had almost every damn day. I had a family of deer, I had turkeys, I had all the wildlife, I had bird feeders set up to where it was like every type of natural bird. Like, I had a really good, just chill spot that I never took it for granted. I always appreciated it. But I also, like, I understood it, like, in a way that I was like, man, this isn't, like, nobody else is getting this. And it turned out, like, I don't know how we ended up with having the cheapest rent, but basically, after COVID, every place went up, all the rents went up, but since we were locked into like, where you don't sign the lease, but it just auto renews until every month until you leave. Like, we were on that, so like it just never changed, except for the yearly, which it could only go up a certain percent. Which, when we left that place, it was still we were playing, like, I want to say it was just getting ready to go up to 780, which granted, it was a shitty 40-year-old place falling apart, total shit box. The neighborhood sucked. The fucking everything sucked except for the things I just described that we like, which is our privacy and being at the end of a quiet place. Like, our neighbors were awesome. That's the other thing, is the first time in my life I had neighbors that were like actually cool. Like, I had, like, they were all like related. There was 2 trailers across from us that were like, it was an old couple that always, every holiday, brought us a whatchamacallit, freaking, they brought us chickens, rotisserie chickens, every holiday, and like, always were doing nice stuff, and we were quiet. We, like, I'm a hermit. I don't leave. I don't talk to people if I don't have to. I'm a hermit. It's just who I am. Now, I'm nice and stuff, and I like to do stuff and help people and do things. I like to be a part of things, but my natural inclination is to be a hermit. But these people would just come, go out of their way to come over and give us, like rotisserie chickens and like holiday treats and all kinds. Like, they were fucking awesome neighbors. He'd help me with my car. He knew a bunch of stuff about cars, and like, he just was a really good dude. And like, they were nice, good with the kids and everything. And then the other neighbor was kind of like me. He never left his house. He was quiet. Like, every time I saw him, it was just, we wave, say hi, say what's up, and that was it. I could see in his window he was playing video games one night, and I'm like, oh, this guy's just like me. We were coming home, and I could see the flashing lights of like Call of Duty or something, and I was like, oh, he's a gamer too, cool. Otherwise, it didn't really know each other. But everybody was cool. My other neighbors were cool. The neighbor next door was the one that rotated all the time, and like, we had, for a couple years, we had a cop, like a sheriff, and dude, never saw him. But it was funny because there was like definitely some people doing some kind of shady shit, because there was a one house and this one chick who just so happened to be the daughter of the manager. So like, I don't know, maybe that's why she never got said anything to, but dude, she was like, we saw her doing things that can only be described as drug deals, because it was like, a car drives up and she gets in it, and then like 2 minutes later she gets out, and then she goes back inside. I'm like, what is that? Are you dropping off DoorDash? You get in the car? No, like, there was lots of traffic, and when there's lots of traffic, something's up, especially at a trailer park. And lo and behold, it all immediately stopped as soon as the cop moved in next door. So even then, it was like, dude, just that guy being there was enough to clean up the neighborhood a little bit. So didn't mind that at all. Plus, it's like protection. If anything ever goes down, you got a cop next door. So, and then he moved out, and then our final neighbors moved in, which was a young couple, and he was like, he ended up doing my lawn. He was like, he had a couple jobs, but like, he did lawns and shit, so he ended up being my lawn guy, because he was like, I'm doing my lawn and I'm right next door. I got all the equipment. It's really easy. It'll take me 5 extra minutes. Pay him a couple bucks. So, needless to say, like, there was things that sucked about it, but there was also, it was good. It was a good thing. And it was just tragic, because like, just like that, just like all gone. And we were the only one. Everybody else had minimal to no damage, or like I said, like, things that could be that were, fixed up real quick and easy. Nobody had any. We were the only ones that had a tree. Now, the company that like, I guess owns whatever, the real estate company or whatever. I don't know what they're called when they own trailer parks, but they own like 5 trailer parks in the area that I live in. And there's one that's actually situated like right near where I'm at now, like like I said, like my wife's family lived like 5 minutes away, and right next to their neighborhood, like, is another one of the trailer parks that that our place owned, and that place was behind, like, in the path of, and a lot of places got wrecked there. They got devastated, like, no joke. Like, I don't want to downplay anybody else's experiences, because, like, in my neighborhood, it was just pretty much us. We were the only ones that were like, bye. But in the neighborhood, like, where we went to go get safe, we happened to be right in the path. And right behind that neighborhood is another, like I said, trailer park. And they got devastated. So, I don't know that there was any tragedies other than the loss of property. So, like, I think that's a good thing. But, like, I don't want to downplay anybody else's situations. But, like, either way, you know, so we had to uproot everything. We had to move. We had to, like, deal with, you know, figuring out how to, like, deal with mail and stuff like that, and, like, how to, like, how do you register a temporary thing. And then, like, we're not, like, my family kept being like, you need to sign up for these tornado relief excuse me. uh, so, like, my mom's like, you need to sign up for these tornado relief things, and, like, get on these lists, and, like, because, you know, the news is always, like, sharing shit, like, if you were affected by the tornado, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, fix it? They can't fix it. And I didn't lose, you know, anything of value or anything. Like, I didn't, like, lose all my shit. I just lost my space. You know what I mean? Like, that didn't feel like I was an emergency. Like, I was devastated. The other thing is, like, everybody stepped up. So, like, it, like, I feel like when there's an emergency and they offer emergency services and relief for people affected by it, like, I'm the kind of person who's like, okay, but, like, that's for people who don't have what I had. Like, my family showed up, helped us get everything packed away and out. Her family showed up, helped take care of things, took us in. Like, we got everything into, like, a storage unit and, like, moved and put away. Like, what would emergency services and relief do for me? Like, give me taxpayer money that I didn't need because I already took, like, I was able to help myself and get help from, you know, what we had around us. So it's like, to me, when people are offering relief and emergency services, I'm like, yeah, but that's for people who are, like, didn't get help, right? Am I wrong? I don't know. If anybody is still listening at this point, drop me a note. Let me know. Am I wrong there? Like, should I be more like, give me help and relief because something happened to me, or should I be like, hey, I don't need it because you guys helped, and I'm like, we'll figure it out now. Like, but the hard part was like, people showed up. If nobody showed up when the hard part happened, then you know, it would have been a different story. But it's like, I like, it almost feels like it'd be taking away resources from something that actually needs it. So, you know, that's where I was on that mentally. I was like, no, like, we're good. We got it. You, like, unless they can literally turn back time and fix it, like, there's, like, it's fine. We didn't lose anybody. We didn't, like, it didn't feel like it was that kind of situation. So, like, that was, and that was March, you know, that, all of this, I don't even know how long I am into this because I'm not looking at my, I can pull up the timer on the recording, I guess. But anyway, all of that was just March. That was March. by, by summertime, like we were, like, pretty much had figured out things, what the new normal is and everything, and it's just kind of been slowly also redefining and figuring that process out as we go, and like, that's it. That's part of why I've had trouble making content videos since then, because a lot of it was, I'm still like, I've said it before, like I'm still mentally, like there's a shock or it put me into a real depression. I can say that because like it was the first time, as somebody who has spent most of their life being upset and mad and sad and what most people would call depressed, like I was actually like, oh, I just don't want to do anything. Like, not in a like, I don't want to be here. I've gone through all those phases, but like literally just like a shock. That's the only thing I can think of it as, a shock, because it was like functionally catatonic is what I would describe it as. Functionally catatonic, because like I didn't want to talk, I didn't want to think, I just wanted to stare, the 1,000-yard stare, and like try to process, I guess, I don't know. And then like things got harder and harder to figure out what to do, and trying to keep like there was a bunch of things I had going in the works that, as always, whenever I make plans or start doing something, things happen. So all those things ended up in storage right now. Like planned content outside of video games. I had some Hot Wheels stuff that I was working on with Grok, because with AI you can like run ideas through it. Instead of using it to make your content, you can just run the ideas by it and get like, iron things out. And I was like, I have this idea, I want to do this thing, and I need to like translate it into like scale, like if I want to do something at 1/64th scale, like how do we, let's translate that, how do we make this content look the way I want to do it. And in the meantime, I was also collecting up all of the things I would need, tools and whatnot. And like right now that's all in storage, because I just don't have, it's like I was just so close to getting a lot of little project hobby things into another level from where they were as little ideas to realities, and had to put a lot of stuff like that on pause. Then obviously just figure out a bunch of stuff, life stuff. If you're grown up, you gotta like, kids gotta be registered in schools, and it's like, oh, you moved a district, you're actually 5 feet out of this district, you can't go to this school, and like, what? But school just started, and blah blah. It's like there was just a lot going on, because it was like summer. It happened at the end of the school year, and then summer break for the kids. Like, speaking in terms that we can all understand, like the recovery process was during summer break time. So it was like, on one hand that was good, because we only had to deal with school for like a minute after the tornado happened. I can't believe this is going as well as it is. I didn't think it was going to go this fast. Maybe it's because I'm a yapping. I found a good story to tell. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if people like hearing about tornadoes. The aftermath, mental aftermath of tornadoes. But basically, yeah. I mean, how? Did I break that? Or did I get it back? I couldn't tell. But I feel like it doesn't need to be floating there, so. Oh, this is getting difficult. But yeah, so, you know, that brings us to now. So, let's see. Let's see. After, let's see. The tornado happened, then that happened to, like I said, we had to figure out school stuff, addresses, like taking care of all the grown-up stuff. My wife ended up getting a new job because she was extremely unhappy with the job she had, and she only had the job because it paid really well and it was easy, and she's the breadwinner, so she had to work there. Like, it was the best option and it worked out. It was, she hated it, but like, she had some friends that were, she made a few friends, and it wasn't too bad. Like I said, mostly it was the fact that it was really good pay. But what's the sacrifice you have to make usually? It's like happiness, or being well off or whatever. So like, since the tornado stuff happened and everything, and we were all kind of like already in a like, who gives a shit? Like, everything is just changed. Like, everything has changed. It's not going back. Why not add a little more change? Like, if you're going to, now's the time. Like, you hate the job, now's the time. What do you want to do? And like, I mean, the obvious answer for her was like, I kind of want to work at a dispensary. And it's like, well, then do it. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, it's an option now, and it's a industry that's like only growing, so why not get in as early as you can? And also, I'm sure you can get benefits from it that like you don't get from your previous job and would be more beneficial to us. So it's like, why not? Like, here's how I think of it. Oh no, the video clip's almost over. Okay, we'll finish that story. Here's how I think of it. Is in the 80s and 90s, my mom worked several jobs as a single mom, but she always worked at jobs that like benefited us. Like, she worked at a grocery store, she worked at like, she was a bus driver, school bus driver, like, which I don't know how that benefited us, but anyway, she worked at jobs that were beneficial in more than just a paycheck way. And like, so I figured it would be the same thing. Like, well, yeah, why not? You work at a dispensary, you'll fucking get paid money to have fun and sell people weed, and like, it's totally legit, and why not? So, but it turns out it was a pretty big pay cut though, so it's like, that's the drawback. But she loves her job. She's been there since, God, I don't remember now, summertime. So it's worked out, and she's been happy. But like, we just don't make as much money, which we also live with a big family now, so it's kind of give or take. It's like balanced basically. But it says it's been an hour, so you know what? I'm gonna stop here and say thanks for listening. Merry Christmas. Love you. Bye. Seriously, thanks. If you're still here and you're not liked and subscribed already, do those things, please. Love you. Bye.